On 22nd of April 2020, the Honorable Supreme Court made a very, very drastic change in the interpretation of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. In the year 2008, a two-judge bench of the Supreme Court in the case of Michael Raj versus the Narcotics Control Bureau held that if a narcotic substance is caught, any contraband which is caught, which is prohibited under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, which is the NDPS Act of 1985, if any such contraband is caught, only the pure drug or psychotropic substance which is caught will be considered, and not any of the additive or other material with which these drugs are usually adulterated with. Those will not be considered for the purpose of quantity under the NDPS Act. It was very relevant because the NDPS Act creates a classification between what is small quantity, what is commercial quantity, and beyond that. So what happened was that in Michael Raj's case, the Supreme Court said that if, say for example, 1 kilogram of heroin is caught, but the actual content of heroin, which is the actual prohibited substance in the NDPS Act, if that 1 kilogram contain only 10 grams of pure heroin, then the classification will be on the basis of that the punishment will be on the basis of that 10 grams of heroin. In the three-judge bench ruling of the Supreme Court in the case of Hiralal versus Union of India, the Supreme Court agreed with the view of the Union of India, which said that the offending substance in entirety is what causes the damage, and so the intent of the legislature could never have been to exclude any of the materials which are there, which are not directly prohibited under the NDPS Act. The Supreme Court in this case looked at all the definitions of the words like preparation, mixture, dosage, and came to the conclusion that not just the prohibited substance, but the entire quantity of the apprehended contraband will be considered for the purpose of small quantity or commercial quantity. I don't know whether this is good or bad, because the lawyer in me says that if a particular thing has been prohibited, the punishment should be prescribed only for that particular thing. Just because a substance is causing damage to you does not mean that that substance should ideally be classified as a narcotic substance, because if, say for example, the reasoning was that brown sugar contains only 20% heroin and the rest of it is other material, which is it is caffeine, it is chalk powder. But the question is, can caffeine and chalk powder then be included in the parameter of a narcotic drug, because the punishments are very, very severe. In 2014, the Parliament enhanced the minimum sentence for having any quantity of any narcotic substance. So now if you are apprehended with even the smallest quantity of charas, ganja, heroin, anything, you will go to jail for a minimum period of 1 year. And in that kind of a scenario, does it really make sense to do something like this? But a bigger problem that I know people will face, because I have practiced a lot of narcotic laws in the very beginning of my career, is the practical reality of the situation. What happens is that, especially when it comes to drug trade, mules who have no idea what they are carrying, but the NDPS Act creates a presumption that if you are apprehended with contraband, it will be presumed that you knew what that substance was, which is usually not the case. A lot of times, and even if they knew what is being carried, they don't know the law around it, or they don't know what kind of a legal implication, to what extent they can have that kind of an implication. So that becomes another problem. A lot of situations, what happens is that the drug which is there will be mixed in some other liquid which is not really meant for consumption, but just for the purpose of concealment. So there have been situations where I have seen liquid heroin or liquid cocaine or other psychotropic substances are mixed in other liquids to make it undetectable, such as gasoline, such as shampoo bottles when people are trying to smuggle them in flights. And sometimes humans ingest the drugs and The drugs are later extracted from the feces of the human beings, right? Sometimes, and they say that Pablo Escobar pioneered this, and I think it still happens. Clothes are soaked in that narcotic substance, and then that thing is later dried. Now, my question is, because the Supreme Court does not, I have read that judgment, I don't see the Supreme Court answering that question. The problem becomes, in this kind of a situation, will the entire tank of gasoline, will that entire shampoo bottle be also included in that classification and in that reasoning of the court? Because at least in Michael Raj's case, this is what used to happen. Some drug will be apprehended and there'll be perhaps 2% or 3% or 5% purity. In fact, this is one argument that one of the counsels for the accused persons also raised in this Hira Singh case, that say for example heroin, anything below 5 grams is small quantity, anything above 5 grams is small quantity, and below 100 grams is small quantity. Beyond 100 grams it becomes commercial quantity. Now for example, small quantity becomes 5 grams and 250 grams is commercial quantity. Now what if a drug dealer is carrying with him 4 grams of pure heroin versus someone who has 1 gram of pure heroin mixed in with 250 grams of some other substance? What will happen is that the person carrying just 1 gram of pure heroin will be now convicted for commercial possession, and commercial possession means minimum 10-year sentence, and the other person will bear only a year sentence because he falls under the classification of small quantity, or below small quantity. The difficulty gets further amplified because the NDPS Act is one of those provisions where you are not taking a life, but yet if on a double conviction, I believe it's section 31 or 31A of the NDPS Act, which says, or somewhere in that category, which says that upon a repeat conviction, the person can also be sentenced to death. I remember one of these situations that I was for the prosecution. One of these cases happened and they were trying for a lenient sentence, and we had to point out to the court that in this case, at that point, at least at that time, as it stood, the section talks about mandatory death sentence for contravention of the NDPS Act, which becomes very, very onerous. We ourselves pointed out that a Bombay High Court ruling struck down the word shall and said that it cannot be shall, as has been held in other cases. It cannot be a mandatory death sentence, but it will have to be dealt with in facts and circumstances. But the fact that death penalty is still there as a provision in the NDPS Act makes it a very, very dangerous situation. Now, in these kind of things now, if I carry with me 4 grams or 1 gram of heroin mixed with 250 grams of something else, and then I do it again another occasion, I can literally be sentenced to death. Something that does not really fit very well with me.